All right, let's dive into this whole Amazon renewed shutdown thing. You've probably seen the headlines, but we've got some inside info thanks to a report from NTRAC. And, well, let's just say it's pretty interesting. We're going to break down what happened and what it could mean for, well, anyone who's ever snagged a deal on refurbished tech.
Yeah, it's a big deal, especially considering, Amazon basically runs the e-commerce world.
Right.
So yeah, lots of sellers and buyers are definitely wondering what happens next.
Right. So the report we have, it's got this email Amazon sent to its sellers, and it lays out like their official reasons for closing up renewed. What were the main things they were worried about?
The big one they pointed to, return rates and rejection rates too. Seems like they were having some issues, with quality control and making sure those refurbished products actually lived up to that whole like new promise. Customer service stuff too.
So maybe those like new promises weren't, well, maybe not so like new after all.
Yeah, could be. And this isn't just a small hiccup for Amazon. Like there are sellers out there who are making, a huge chunk of their income from Renew. This could really hit them hard.
The report actually talks about one company specifically, New Jessa. They're publicly listed and we're pulling into this over half their revenue through Amazon Renewed. What does this mean for them?
Well, they had to put out a statement actually to the National Stock Exchange of India, basically warning investors that this could, well, it could hurt their bottom line, not being on Amazon anymore. That's a massive loss for them.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're scrambling to find other places to sell their stuff.
So this whole thing, it's got to benefit someone, right? Like Amazon Renewed, they were going head to head with Yantra, and then Flipkart bought Yantra. So could this be a win for Flipkart? Could they like dominate the refurbished market now?
Absolutely. Take Amazon out of the picture. The whole game changes. Flipkart and, platforms like Cashify, they're in a great spot to fill that gap. And get this, Amazon actually has money invested in Cashify.
Whoa, really? So could this be like a strategic move on Amazon's part? Maybe they're focusing on like specific parts of the refurbished market, like their professionally authorized products and letting partners like Cashify handle the rest?
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. Maybe they're going for a more, I don't know, curated approach, focusing on certified refurbishment so they can keep a tighter grip on quality and, making sure customers are happy. And by working with Cashify, they still have a foot in the door, even if they're not running the whole show.
Okay, so maybe they're streamlining, changing focus. But what about us regular folks who love a good deal on refurbished tech? Will this change prices? Will there be like fewer products to choose from?
There's a good chance we'll see some changes. Less competition could mean prices go up. But then again, Flipkart and Cashify might see this as a chance to grab new customers, maybe with lower prices or better service.
So we'll have to wait and see how it shakes out. But before we go too far down that road, let's go back to Amazon's official statement. They're phasing out externally refurbished products, but still selling stuff refurbished by, quote, professionals authorized by Amazon.in. What's the difference, really?
It sounds like they're going for a more, I guess, controlled approach, maybe aiming for higher quality. They're definitely emphasizing like their standards. But it does make you wonder, what makes someone an authorized professional? What are the rules? And will buyers actually notice a difference in the quality?
It's kind of a mystery right now, but I think this whole situation shows how important it is to, really understand the refurbished market because different platforms and sellers, they might have different standards. So yeah, it's up to us, the buyers, to figure out what's what.
Definitely. Before you buy anything refurbished, do your homework. Look into their grading system, warranties, return policies, all that stuff. It can make a big difference.
So it seems like Amazon, they're trying to walk this fine line, right? They want to be in the refurbished market, but they also don't want to like mess up their reputation for quality for keeping their customers happy.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. It's going to be really interesting to see how this all plays out. Like, will this authorized professional thing be enough? Will it make customers feel okay about buying refurbished on Amazon again?
Yeah, who knows what people will do, right? But this could, it could change things for the entire refurbished market.
It really could. If people get, hesitant about refurbished tech in general, not just on Amazon, then the whole sector could take a hit.
Especially now, like people were starting to realize how good refurbished is for the environment.
Right, and that brings up a super important point. Refurbished tech, it's like a cornerstone of the circular economy.
Mhm.
It keeps products in use longer, it cuts down on e-waste, saves resources. So this move by Amazon, it could be, I don't know, maybe a bit of a step backward for all that, if it makes people less trusting of refurbished stuff overall.
So what you're saying is this decision, it's not just about Amazon. It could have bigger implications, like for sustainability and stuff.
Exactly. It
Yeah.
just goes to show how connected all these things are. Like one change in one place can cause ripples everywhere else.
And it makes you think about, what role companies play in all this and making things more sustainable.
Sure. Governments and regulations are important, but what consumers decide to do, how companies act, that's what really shapes the future of sustainability.
This also kind of reminds me of that whole right to repair movement, right? Like, if we could fix our stuff more easily, if parts were cheaper and easier to get, it could totally change how long our electronics last. And maybe, just maybe, we wouldn't even need these big platforms like Amazon Renewed so much.
That's a really interesting point. A strong right to repair system, it could give people the power to keep their devices running longer. And it would create a more, decentralized refurbished market. More players, more options.
It's pretty crazy to think about how all these different things are connected. Like the decisions platforms make, what we buy, laws and regulations, it all shapes the future of tech.
It does. And honestly, there are no easy answers, no quick fixes. It's a complex landscape that's constantly shifting.
But, it's exciting to see people talking about these things, getting involved.
I agree. It shows that people are becoming more aware and they want tech to be more sustainable, more ethical.
So, for our listeners out there who are following all of this, what should they be paying attention to in the next few months?
Well, keep an eye on Amazon's authorized professional program. Like, will it actually lead to better quality refurbished products? Or is it just Amazon trying to control things more? And then there's Flipkart and Cashify. What will they do now? Will they try to win over those Amazon renewed customers? Maybe we'll see more competition, more innovation?
And we can't forget all the other stuff we've been talking about, right? Like the push for right to repair laws, people becoming more aware of the circular economy, everyone wanting tech that's sustainable and ethical. All those things will keep shaping the industry, and it's important for us, the consumers, to stay informed and make our voices heard.
We've talked a lot about smartphones and laptops, but the refurbished market is way bigger than that. Appliances, medical equipment, even industrial machines. People are buying all that stuff refurbished now.
So the idea of keeping products in use longer, it's spreading to all sorts of industries.
Exactly. It's about saving money, sure, but it's
Right.
also about dealing with limited resources and realizing that how we consume things has a real impact on the environment.
So even with all the challenges, the refurbished market has a ton of potential.
Absolutely. It's a chance to rethink how we use tech, to embrace sustainability, to create a system where things are reused, repaired, and eventually recycled responsibly.
This whole conversation, it's really highlighted how complex the refurbished market is and all the things that are shaping its future. Any final thoughts for our listeners?
First off, remember, this is all changing constantly. Informed consumers are what drives real change. So stay curious, do your research, and support companies that are doing things right. And second, think about buying refurbished next time you need some tech. You might be surprised at the quality, the price, and, you'll be doing something good for the planet.
Okay, so we've covered a lot in this deep dive, right? I mean, we've been talking about Amazon shutting down Renewed and what it all means.
Yeah, for sure. From how it affects sellers, like right now, to what it could mean for the whole refurbished market. And we even got into like the bigger picture stuff, sustainability, ethical consumption, all that.
Right, right. And I think, one of the big things we keep coming back to is how much power we have as consumers. Like
Yeah.
if we're informed, we can really make a difference.
Absolutely. When we understand what's going on, when we do our research, we can support companies that are, actually doing the right things.
It's like we can vote with our wallets, right? We can choose to spend our money with businesses that share our values.
And those values, I think, are more and more about sustainability, about knowing where things come from and wanting stuff that's, made to last.
And speaking of things that last, there's something we haven't even talked about yet, and that's like the design of products.
Oh, that's a great point.
Yeah.
Yeah, how something is designed, it can make it really easy or really hard to fix, or to make it last a long time.
Like, think about those smartphones that are all glued together. You can't fix those. But then you have those, what do they call them, modular designs, where you can just swap out parts.
Exactly. If companies actually cared about making things repairable and durable, man, it'd make a huge difference. Our electronics would last way longer,
Yeah.
and we wouldn't have to replace them so often.
Which would be good for the planet and good for our bank accounts.
Totally, totally. And it all ties into that right to repair thing, which is like getting bigger and bigger all over the world.
Right. If we had the right to fix our own stuff, companies would have to make it easier to fix.
And we'd have more control.
Mm.
We could keep our devices running longer, maybe even upgrade them ourselves or like customize them.
It's about moving away from this whole throwaway culture, right? We got to start thinking about a more circular way of doing things where products are designed to be reused, repaired, and, eventually recycled responsibly.
And that shift, it needs everyone to get on board. Consumers, companies, and the people who make the laws.
But I do think things are moving in the right direction. And you know what? This whole Amazon Renewed thing, even though it seems like a bad thing, it might actually help. Like, it's making people talk about these issues, which is a good thing.
I agree. Sometimes you need like a shakeup to make people rethink how things are done and, look for new solutions.
So as we wrap this up, I kind of want to leave our listeners with a feeling of hope, you know?
Yeah, I like that. Hope, but hope that's based on, being aware of the problems and taking action.
Because, yeah, the challenges are real, but there's also this growing movement toward tech that's more sustainable, more ethical.
And it's people like us, informed consumers, who are pushing for that change. We're demanding better from the companies we support.
So if you care about this stuff, don't think your choices don't matter. They do.
Do your research, spend your money with companies that are doing things right, and speak up. Let them know what you think.
Because, the future of tech, it's in our hands. We can make it better, more sustainable, fairer, and, well, just better for everyone.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And on that note, thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of refurbished tech and, everything that comes with it. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay engaged.